What can't the Philadelphia Phillies do at this point of a Major League Baseball season? The answer to my own question might be lose. The Phils have won 6 straight games. They are now 37-14. The best start for this Phillies franchise since when, Donnie?
1892 is the best stretch right now for the Philadelphia Phillies. What is it, like 29? I forget the exact record, but not the actual record itself, but the stretch of games where they're so far above 500. Best stretch since 1892 right now.
What was the nickname in 1892? Is it culturally appropriate or no?
I think so. I think it was still Phillies at that point, right? Yeah. I think it
was the Athletics.
Well, there was 2 teams in town, the Phillies and the Athletics at the same time, yeah.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Regardless, the point stands. The Phils are the best team in Major League Baseball, 37-14. And yesterday, completing a 4-game midweek series sweep over the reigning World Series champion Texas Rangers. The Rangers struggling mightily. They have dropped 11 of their last 13 games. The Phils, the complete opposite end of that coin. They have won 11 of their previous 13, and with the 5-2 victory yesterday, a 4-game sweep, 6 wins in a row for the Phils, and they were booked with Zach Wheeler on the bump as greater than a $2 favorite. It was only a 3-game series sweep. Are you sure about that? Okay.
I mean, tough scene. I mean, first Ben gets the series wrong. Then he tells me the Phillies had a culturally inappropriate name. I mean, come on, what more can you bash my spot about?
I'm trying to provide you all of that. You need that jargon, right? You need some of that hate speech that you believe everybody is talking bad about the Phils when nobody has ever said a bad word about Philadelphia and the way they're playing baseball this year. I'm trying to be that guy. So just a 3-game sweep for the Phils. Back in 1892, a great stretch with a wonderful named team in the Phillies and a 5-2 win yesterday over Texas.
Yeah, look, the Phillies just keep piling on at this point. Doesn't matter if you're even starting the game down. Adolis Garcia hit a bomb into the left field seats. Maybe it's not Zach Wheeler's day. He responds by going 7 innings, only giving up 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 91 pitches, lowering his ERA to 2.53. And this is what we talk about with the Philadelphia Phillies on a day-to-day basis. Seems like every single day they go out, the better pitcher is on the Philadelphia Phillies side. And in Major League Baseball, what's the most key ingredient to a team having success? Yes, you would love guys to hit 40 to 50 home runs, but if you have a really good pitching staff, you're going to have a really good season. That's what the Philadelphia Phillies are having right now. And again, this weekend, they're going to take on the Colorado Rockies. Every single game they take on the Rockies, they'll have the better pitcher on the mound. That equates to a lot of wins in a short period of time.
A -210 road money line favorite for the Phillies today on the road in Coors with a total of 10.5. JT Realmuto, back-to-back home runs in the last 2 days. Had a homer and 3 RBIs on Wednesday, a solo shot yesterday as well for the Phils. That 5-2 victory to complete a 3-game series sweep, Donnie. Only 3 games in a row over Texas, but 6 victories in a row for the Phils. Rubber match of also just a 3-game set yesterday in Wrigley inside the friendly confines between the Braves and the Cubs. It was Atlanta as a slight road favorite, blanking Chicago. 3-0 the victory for the Braves, who take the final 2 games of this set to win the series. Total of 8.5 inside the friendly confines does stay under. The Braves now under in 13 of their last 16 games.
Yeah, kind of crazy, too, because we always think about Atlanta with that powerful offense 1 through 9, playing in a hitter's ballpark in Atlanta. And you say, all right, well, they were on the road. Well, you played in a great hitter's ballpark here in Chicago, but it wasn't necessarily the Atlanta bats you were focused on. It was the Atlanta starting pitching and bullpen pitching here, which has been absolutely fantastic. 29-18 on the season. If it wasn't for the Phillies getting off to such a historical start, the Braves probably would be comfortably in first place in the NL East. It's a good baseball team getting great pitching at the right time. Sooner than later, though, Ben, the tide is going to turn in Atlanta. We don't know how long this pitching can hold up with their starting staff, but we know that lineup is capable of breaking out at any moment. We're just waiting for that moment now.
Still a 6-game lead for Philadelphia over Atlanta for the top spot in the National League East. And much like yesterday, the two clubs have the same price to win the division. Yesterday, it was minus 115 for both the Braves and the Phillies. Today, it's minus 110 for whatever reason. Atlanta, of course, has won this division, the NL East, for 6 consecutive seasons. What a pitching performance it was yesterday in the Bronx out of Luis Gil, the starter for the New York Yankees. He blanks the Seattle Mariners on the other side as the Yankees take the final 2 games of a 4-game set to split the series against Seattle. 5-0, the victory for the Pinstripes. Both Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton hit a long ball for the Yanks yesterday up in the Bronx.
Yeah, Luis Castillo didn't even have a bad performance here as he drops to 4-6, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. That's appropriate there for playing up in New York. But you take a look at Luis Gil, he's been fantastic. Sort of out of left field. These are the type of guys that can propel you from a very good season to great season as you wait to get Garrett Cole back. 6 1/3 innings pitched, no earned runs yesterday, 8 strikeouts, a 2.11 ERA on the season now. That is fantastic, but also, more importantly than getting a Luis Gil great start, I always like to look at that box score for the Yankees. And anytime you got Judge and Stanton starting to heat up right now, both hitting home runs, where you see Judge now sitting at 276 and Stanton approaching 250 here. And I preface this also, we haven't even got into the months where it's going to be 85 and 90 degrees in some of these games up at Yankee Stadium. That ball is really going to travel. 35-17, man. Good on the Yanks. That's a good ball club.
15 home runs now for Aaron Judge. Back-to-back games with a homer. He has hit 3 home runs in the Yanks' last 5. Luis Gil this year has been sensational. Awesome. To echo Donnie's point, shutout work yesterday. Only allowed 1 hit to Seattle, striking out 8. He is 6-1 this season with a 2.11 ERA, 2.11 ERA for Luis Gil. As we go around Major League Baseball now, DRS, very different stories in the 2 leagues, but really are they? When you look at the American League pennant prices, the New York Yankees, unsurprisingly, the favorites. After the strong start to the season and the very slow start for Houston, the Yanks became the favorites to win the pennant, despite the Astros being the pre-season favorites. The Yanks plus 240, half the price of Baltimore behind them at 5-1. And when was the last time, DRS? As we approach Memorial Day weekend, which technically starts tonight or tomorrow, could you see a team that is 6 games below 500 at 6-1 with the 3rd best number to win a pennant? That's the Houston Astros.
It's a direct shot at the AL West right now because, I mean, let's just change it up a little bit here where you would put I know you can't do this, but the Philadelphia Phillies, let's put them in the AL West. That price point at 6-1 would be nowhere near 6-1. The reason why the Astros are 6-1 is because nobody wants to win any games. And just as the Astros are messing around, did you see the last 2 weeks for the Texas Rangers? They've been terrible. You saw the Yankees again handle their business against the Mariners, which keeps everything in play. Forget about the totality of the standings, because once again, you cannot win the pennant unless you make the playoffs. But once you make the playoffs, everybody's back on that even playing field, and you say, okay, the Astros have been there, done that, been the pennant or won the pennant multiple times, and World Series champions. It's crazy to see that 6-1 price for not a good baseball team. But again, it's just a direct correlation that everybody is keeping the Astros in it in the AL West, where they could possibly win that division, which is crazy to think about when they were double digits under 500 just a short time ago.
There is only one team with a winning record in the American League West. It is the Seattle Mariners. And because of that, despite being 6 games below 500, Houston's only 4.5 games back. The Astros are minus 120 to make the playoffs, but plus 200 to win the AL West. That's your better number. Just the divisional race for the Astros at the moment. If you're looking for value in the American League, I think it's with the 2 teams near the top of the AL Central, the Guardians at 11-1 or the Royals at 23-1. And Donnie, we have discussed the National League at length, but it's really that tier of 3. The Phil's the 3rd best number at plus 390, and then we get to the Cubs at 16-1. Look at that dramatic drop-off in the National League. Plenty more around Major League Baseball comes your way up next. A wild ending on the south side of Chicago between the White Sox and the Orioles, and some other scores from a short Thursday slate before a jam-packed weekend of the Bigs. Up next. Paul Skeens Day in Pittsburgh, but a wild comeback from the San Francisco Giants inside PNC Park. A couple of the games we recap from our short Thursday slate around MLB had some crazy and chaotic finishes. First, we start in Pittsburgh, where Paul Skeens was okay in his third Major League Baseball start of his career. But the story was San Francisco. The Giants win 7-6 as a plus 150 money line underdog. I sprinkled on the Gigantes yesterday, and they came back for me. Total goes well over 7.5. Why was it such a wild comeback? The Pittsburgh Pirates had a 6-2 lead at the end of 7 innings. San Francisco plated 5 in the 8th inning, led by a 3-run home run from Matt Chapman to come all the way back. The Pirates, who are a minus 178 favorite, with Skeens on the mound yesterday, DRS, are now 7-14 straight up when booked as the favored side on the money line this Major League Baseball season.
Yeah, that's terrible, especially if you take a look at Skeens, who did go 6 innings pitched, 93 pitches, only allowed 1 earned run. Now, he didn't have this crazy, let me get 12 or 13 strikeout performance like we know he's probably capable of, but he lowered his ERA to 2.25. That's supposed to be a win. You're supposed to, that should be easily in your back pocket. And we're not talking about like, yeah, you know what? Dodgers, Ohtani, Betts, Smith. Yeah, they got to him late. This is the San Francisco Giants. We're not exactly known for offense here. We absolutely torched that bullpen for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But that's the issue with the Pirates. They're not a good baseball team. And typically in the major leagues, we don't look at front-end starting pitching or sometimes the lineup. It's like, where the bad teams really struggle. Has there ever been a bad baseball team? It's like, man, they got one of the better bullpens. No, that's usually when your starting pitcher comes out of the game and you hold your breath to try to close out the 8th and 9th inning. Skeens was really good yesterday. The bullpen really bad, and that equates to a loss here. The Pittsburgh Pirates, which were so promising to start the first couple weeks of the season, like, hey, maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle. That bottle is gone, and we're not raising too many Jolly Rogers at this point.
Yeah, they're down 5 games below 500 at this moment. The Buccos now 23-28. The rest of the summer in Pittsburgh is really going to be an examination of their 2 young studs at the top of the starting staff. That's Jared Jones, the rookie, and now Paul Skeens, the rookie as well. Pittsburgh off to such a great start each of the past 2 MLB seasons where you're like, ooh, after 2.5 weeks, the Pirates? Really the Pirates? Not so much. Meanwhile, the Giants, with the comeback yesterday, San Francisco has won 6 of their last 7. They head to Citi Field for a weekend set that begins this weekend in Queens against the Mets. Why do I highlight that? I will be in attendance tomorrow for some day baseball on a Saturday.
You're going to pick up Kevin Walsh, lives right next door there to Citi Field in the heart of New York City. Maybe the boys can get together, little videos, maybe the Insta 360 out there shooting some videos.
Oh, will you send that to us? Maybe so.
Should.
Maybe we'll get a little live reaction. Coca-Cola Corner. I'll say it's a bad day to be a Bud Light at Citi Field tomorrow. As we go around Major League Baseball and get you recapped on everything you need to know from yesterday. A wild ending in Pittsburgh because of a comeback for the Giants. The White Sox were trying to do the same in the bottom of the 9th at home against the Baltimore Orioles. The O's up 8-6. Andrew Benintendi at the dish, 1 out, runners on first and second. Skies one high in the air in the infield. Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop for Baltimore, gets under it easily, makes the grab. It looked like they were calling an infield fly rule. Instead, they were calling interference on Chicago's base runner at second, Andrew Vaughn, who calmly walked back to second plate. Gunnar Henderson goes slightly around him in the base path and makes the grab. But they called interference on Vaughn, so it results in a game-ending double play. Chicago's chance of a comeback is halted, and Baltimore wins 8-6 as a minus 230 money line favorite. One of the worst and wildest calls you will ever see made by a Major League Baseball umpire.
Yeah, it's brutal. And sometimes you don't need this stuff. And as I brought up at the beginning of the show, if it is an egregious play, wait to see how it plays out here, and you can easily make that call. Whoever watched that play as an umpire and said, oh, you know what? That really got in his way. Nobody got in anybody's way at this point. And also you could tell the body language by the player that was leading off of second base. He's just walking back. He's not trying to actually impede the process of anybody. Quite frankly, he doesn't even know where that player is even at. And he also has a right to get back to the base himself at that point. It was just a crazy way to end it. And also, from a guy that likes RBI props, Mr. Lee was supposed to come to the plate with 2 outs there and a runner on second base at a plus 300 price to get an RBI who never got that plate appearance. Class action lawsuit from DRS could be coming today.
Yep. I think it should be. It really should be. Donnie Rightside petitions Major League Baseball umpiring for a statement in the rationale behind what was a terrible call made against Andrew Vaughn. Again, Vaughn doesn't even see Gunnar Henderson, who's behind him, kind of keeping him on second base, but he has no idea where Henderson is. He could be in the hole between second and third. Anyway, a terrible call. Baltimore does bounce back, though. They were swept in St. Louis in a midweek set by the Redbirds, so they get that victory yesterday. Elsewhere in Detroit, the Tigers now have lost 5 straight games, and the Blue Jays had a big day in the Motor City. 9-1, the victory for Toronto. Kevin Gausman, the starter for the Jays, sensational 6 innings of work, only allowed a single earned run, and had 10 strikeouts as both of these teams entered with the same price on that money line, a pick'em -108 both sides. The Blue Jays get a win.
A couple good starts in a row now from Kevin Gausman. That's what you anticipate. This is what you're supposed to get. And still, you look at that record for Toronto, Ben. It's 23-26, completely underwhelming. Maybe this is one of these games or series that gets them a kickstart here because they're much better offensively than they've showed yesterday. 282 now in the season, 2 for 5 for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You take a look at Danny Jansen, who's been very good as a catcher for them. Other guys stepping up, but it starts with the pitching staff. Alek Manoah was on the mound today. We know the struggles he's been through with a couple good starts. Maybe it's the start of something good in Toronto. We'll find out.
You would not expect the two teams to be in the bottom of the American League East, the two teams in that division below 500, to be the two teams that are below 500. The Rays, a staple of consistency, 25-26. Tampa on a 4-game skid. The Blue Jays, 3 games below 500, 23-26. Most everybody has played about 50 games in Major League Baseball. We always say Memorial Day weekend, a critical juncture of the season to get a true assessment and evaluation of your club and what you are going to do the rest of the way.